Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a brand new 2022 Toyota Supra 3.0 Premium. And today, I'm gonna review it for you guys. Now, I've already reviewed this body style of the Supra, but last time I wasn't able to drive it. This time, I got to drive it. Starting out up front on this new Supra, I love the design. When it was initially unveiled, everyone was saying, well, it's just a BMW. But I think that this really stands out compared to the BMW that it shares the same platform with. The aggressive lines and Toyota distinct look really lend to this being a fairly sharp looking car. Now, in addition to your sweet headlights, you'll have parking sensors up front here, and then you'll have your Toyota Safety Sense badge right here incorporated into the left side of the lower front fascia. Then you're also going to get a lot of vents on here. Now, most of these are sealed, but you do have the option to open them up for airflow, so a little bit of customization on this part from Toyota, though it would have been nice just from the jump to have open functional vents. Moving under the astronomically giant hood, as you can see, it even comes over the fender flare area. It's definitely a sight to behold. But underneath this hood is a 3-liter inline-6 that makes 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, and that is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This engine is known as the B58 and is mainly used in BMWs. It's funny, as I kneel here, the first thing I see is actually a BMW logo under here. It's not a Toyota logo. It is obvious even from the jump that when Toyota created this, it was in partnership with BMW because they didn't think it was viable to make a car on its own platform, because I assume they have someone that does all that logistically, and they figure, okay, we can make this car, but we're gonna need to share a platform. And I think you're gonna be surprised when we move around the car. There definitely is some BMW elements, and of course BMW logos, but for the most part, this is very much a Toyota. Moving to the profile of the Supra, starting here with the wheels and tires, you'll get 255/35 ZR tires around 19-inch wheels. I really like the two-tone black and silver aesthetic. I think that works really, really well. And then in here you'll have red Toyota Supra brake calipers. They are not Brembos. We looked into that because we were unsure, but those are just kind of mimicking ones. Over here you'll have carbon fiber mirror caps with turn signal indicators in them, and there is also blind spot monitoring. Cool thing with this particular one is if we hit lock, that's going to fold the mirrors up. And another little gimmick this has, if we hold unlock, what it's gonna do is it's actually going to bring the windows down, cool the cabin on a nice warm day, and then the same principle applies that if we hit lock, those mirrors are gonna fold up, and then the windows are also gonna go up. I know some vehicles have power down windows, but it's rare to see a vehicle that also has power up with the key fob. I should say that every vehicle has power down windows now, but with the key fob. Speaking of the key fob, if I put it in my pocket, this has keyless entry. As you can see, it's locked right now. If I put my hand right there, it senses I have the key and it unlocks the vehicle. And then the owner currently has it set to where he will walk away and it will automatically lock the car. And then if we move here, you have the largest fuel door maybe ever on a vehicle. Obviously it's a regular size fuel cap, but because of the positioning on this rear fender flare, the fuel door had to be pretty large. And then as we move to the back here, you'll have parking sensors down here, dual exhaust, and then you'll have your third brake light incorporated right there. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't give you guys an exhaust note on a Supra. Then you'll have your GR badge right here, your backup camera, the Supra badge, and then your Toyota logo. The key fob also has the ability to pop this rear liftgate. So you just tap the button right there and you can lift it up, revealing a pretty solid amount of storage space in here. And then underneath this is pretty hard to get to, and I'll show you what I mean. When you lift this up, the corners bump against the interior here, but underneath this is actually your battery. So pretty difficult to get to the battery here. It's very hard to do with one hand. If I had two hands, I could get this panel out easier, but there is the battery in the back. That's kind of a unique feature. You don't see that too often anymore on vehicles. And then you'll have dual subwoofers right there, which is pretty tight. Moving to the interior of the Supra, I have the owner, Kevin, here, who you will recognize from the Ferrari 488 video if you were one of the 600 people that actually saw that. I reviewed a Ferrari. Why did nobody watch that video? Anyway, we're going to talk about the interior here and go over all the features that you have. Starting here with the door panel, you do have a nice gloss black material here, and then you'll have your window controls, your power folding mirrors, so you can fold them from inside if you'd like, and then you have the mirror controls, and then all your lighting controls are right here. The 3.0 Premium comes with a JBL sound system. That's what the subwoofers are in the back. They are also JBL. And there's a really nice leatherette texture right here on the door, and that extends up to the dash with stitching. That's really cool. You're gonna have paddle shifters right here, and then all your controls for the radar guided cruise control, the Toyota Safety Sense here on the steering wheel, and then you'll have your volume and your modes with the Bluetooth on this side. Leather wrapped steering wheel with very nice stitching right here. Moving into the screen, while for the most part it is digital, there is still a physical tachometer right here. There's not a ton of customization right here. You'll get a digital speedometer readout, you'll have your speed limit sign, your different drive modes. So if I were to switch into neutral or drive, it would tell us right there. And then you'll have just your traditional features right here. It's pretty basic compared to other vehicles. Like for example, if I hit sport, it's gonna give us a little bit more accenting, but nothing crazy. It's a pretty simple gauge cluster setup. You also have a digital heads-up display here. That's controlled from the steering wheel as well. It's gonna give you Apple CarPlay, your music, digital speedometer readout, and your speed limit reading right there. So that's really helpful. All right, moving into the screen, I think it's time, Kevin. How long have you had this car?
Like late March.
Okay, I think it's time to peel the plastic protector on the touchscreen off.
I just want it pristine. Here we go.
All right, there it is. Ugh. It's like watching like a phone video. This is great. Now, obviously, the effect of the red swooping that you see is not actually on the screen. That's because of the camera's refresh rate compared to the screen's refresh rate. If you can see, I brighten it here. It doesn't do that anymore, but it kind of blows out the background. So this has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto incorporated into it. This is a very unique screen, as we've learned. It's very responsive, very useful, and because of the BMW heritage, well, it's sort of an entire BMW interior, barring this Toyota logo. There is actually a little dial that you can use to control the screen if you didn't want to use the touchscreen features. Though I'm sitting all the way back in the chair, and it's pretty easy to get to this screen as a touchscreen. There's some interesting stuff that Kevin and I found in here apart from the CarPlay. So we go out, there's different modes, you have your vehicle settings, notifications, but when we went into connected services, this is just absolutely fascinating. I have to talk about this. And you scroll down, there's Wiki Local, which is, I guess, a map setting that determines if there's cool local things around you, and it gives you the Wikipedia article about it. Okay, like for example, we're right near Dorney Park, and there is Wikipedia articles. Look at this, it'll give you the full Wikipedia article readout of this roller coaster. That's such a neat thing. I don't know why anyone would need to use it. Kevin and I were talking, maybe the potential is that someone would be driving, they'd see maybe an abandoned amusement park or something, and they'd say, ooh, that's interesting. They could pull up the wiki local, and then also you can have the car read it to you. So that could kind of be cool. So obviously you wouldn't be reading while driving. But like, what a strange, unique feature. All right, moving down here, you'll get heated seats, dual zone climate control, and then you'll have your shifter down here. This is kind of an interesting shifter, but it's not the weirdest in the world that we live in. We've definitely got some weirder shifters. So automatic, 8-speed automatic. If I want to put it in drive, I hold this button and I pull that. Now I am in drive. It's going to say so in the gauge cluster, as I mentioned. You'll get a little light down here. Hold it again, shift up to reverse. And that is gonna show our backup camera on here. It does have guiding lines that turn with the car and kind of a sensor 360-degree view. It doesn't actually have a 360-degree camera on this particular one, but it kind of gives you a mock readout of what it might look like. And then, did you have something you wanted to say? No, you just breathe, okay. And then if you wanna go into park, you just hold park, and then that's going to shift into there. And then you also do have manual modes that you can shift over and upshift and downshift from here, or you can also control it from your paddle shifters. Moving down here, you'll have your electronic parking brake, your safety system controls. So if we click that, that's going to give us customization. If we want, we can put all of them on, which is going to basically turn everything on. But Kevin doesn't like, what is it? What do you not like?
I don't like steering assist, so like lane assist. It is really delicate. Every time I'm driving on the highway and I'm not even close to the line, it'll just center itself. It's irritating, so I just turn it off.
So they know that you will probably find some of those features irritating, so they give you an option to turn it off, which is really nice. You'll have sport mode in here, so if you tap that, that's also going to give you different settings that you can configure on there. And then automatic engine start stop. I also like that they give you a button for that because that's kind of an annoying feature. And then your rear parking sensors. Down here you have a USB 12 volt and a wireless charging setup, and then you'll have carbon fiber in this kind of center area right here. Very cockpit like. I happen to really like it. I think it flows really well, and it's a really cool drive. I think that wraps up this interior. We can take this thing for a spin. Is there anything that I missed? Did I miss anything, Kevin?
Cup holders, 2.
Wow, thank you. That is good. Thank you. I forgot about the cup holders, which will probably be a question that somebody asked in the comment section. All right, driving the Supra. It's funny, I say this so often and I do so many car reviews back to back that I'm like, driving the, what am I driving? Supra. So driving the Supra here with the owner Kevin, who has graciously allowed me to review this today. And I've gotten some time behind the wheel before we film this segment, and oh my word, just opening it up here, it throws you back. It's almost like an electric car in the sense that pedal to the metal, you fly back into the seat, and it's one of the coolest things. And like I mentioned in the interior talk, I don't know what I call that segment, the interior time, I talked about how I think it's like a cockpit, and it's got that really cool view, and I love it. I think it handles really well, and braking's great. Responsive braking was very good when I was filming the intro. I want to talk to Kevin a little bit as I drive. Maybe I'll comment a little bit more on the feeling, but Kevin, what led you to a Supra? I guess I probably should have briefed Kevin on these questions before I asked him.
Yeah.
What led you to a Supra? Because I know you've been looking for a car for a long time.
Well, honestly, I wanted a car that I was going to have fun with. And I was looking at a bunch of, I guess, 4-door sedans so that I could fit a bunch of people in. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I wanted something new and something cool right now, you know, yeah. Like, I have the opportunity to buy something like this. So I'm a big hatch guy, I guess. So a GTI or a Golf R, because it's all-wheel drive. Yeah. It is a fun-looking car, I would say, for
Definitely.
Sure. It is another German car I was looking at. Mm-hmm. But I guess when my little brother and my stepdad told me, why don't you just get a Supra? My mind went, huh, why not?
Yeah.
So I looked into one, and I went and to a dealership, test drove it with my little brother, had a ton of fun. It is my little brother's favorite car. It's not my all-time favorite car, one of, I would say. Beautiful car. The only thing that turned me off about it, I really hated on this car, was the fact that it was a BMW in the inside.
Yeah.
And I did more research though. It passed Toyota reliability, and it has a reliability of a Toyota with a BMW.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, it's 25 miles to the gallon if you drive like an old man, which I don't. I get probably around 14.9 last year.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
So you're gonna say like, oh, like 17 or 18.
No,
oh my gosh.
No, it was at a good 15 and I dropped it to 14.9. That's as low as I'm going.
My Tacoma gets better than this.
Yes.
But
well,
I guess you're not buying a Supra for fuel economy.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really thinking of that. And at the time when I bought it, gas prices
weren't what they are now. Let's hope by the time that this video comes out that gas prices return to normal.
Yeah,
Let's cut to a segment where hopefully they are, or maybe they're not.
Everything else is like incorporating a ton of electronics, like
Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yes. Well, like what I mean by electronics is like hybrids and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I was just looking for a sports car to have fun, pay off pretty quick, and then something else that's more reliable in the future.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's what led me to get this Supra.
Cool. All right, guys, that's going to conclude this video on the 2022 Supra. I really hope you enjoyed. And before I go, I'd like to leave you with a Bible verse. This week is Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care.